Animation and point interpolation. So, we learned how to use the effect controls parameters. And now there is a question about point animation. How can these parameters change all the time? We don't need a static state, but a dynamic one. We have such a thing as a stopwatch to do it. Each parameter has an icon in the form of a stopwatch to the left of the name. These icons are indicators that a particular parameter can change all the time. To do this, we just need to activate the desired stopwatch. Let's say we want to set scale from 0 to 100 without changing the position parameter. When we animate the appearance, it is better to fix the endpoint and then change the start point. So, we turn on the stopwatch for the scale parameter. We have got a single point that defines everything that goes before and after it. As soon as we change the parameter with the stopwatch turned on, the second point will appear. We can highlight and move all the points horizontally, either individually or together. The first point determines the position of the parameter before and on it. For example, we take the value 0. We can change the position of the points and create new ones using the sliders to the left of the reset icon. We create the second point with the value 100. We got a sudden appearance of a frame. If it seems to us that it's too fast, then we need to select the second point and move it to the right. By the way, the time of the clip itself is shown at the top. In this way, we can change any parameters that we have in effect controls. If we want to reset the animation of points, the reset function won't help us. It will simply create a new point with a 0th parameter. Therefore, we need to click on the stopwatch again to delete it. In the appeared window, a warning pops up that this action will delete all existing animations. We can get more information about the animation by using the arrow icon to the left of the stopwatch. We have a shadow of actions, so we'll analyze them. First of all, this graph shows the change in the scale parameter. The first point is the 0 value. A ruler appears vertically that allows you to track the changes in the parameter. When you move the slider on the Effect Controls panel or playhead on the graph, we will see a smooth increase in the parameter from 0 to 100. Secondly, we see a lower branch from the graph of different lengths and positions. This is a speed graph. That is, we have 0 speed up to 1 point. Then our graph takes any speed of sudden appearance of a frame. The speed depends on the distance between the first and second points. We can view the settings using the right click on the desired point. Each point has a time interpolation. In this case, the linear mode is selected. The parameter changes constantly. The speed is unchanged. If we switch the mode to Bezier, we get the following. We have tendrils that allows us to change the curvature of the line and the speed. With this function, you can make a smoother, sharper appearance of the frame and adjust its speed. We can copy the create parameters to another video. To do this, we need to right-click on the desired clip in the timeline panel and select Copy. Then we go to another clip and paste the parameters using paste attributes. Such little things help distinguish a good editing from a bad one, because it's always clearer to the viewer's eye when someone appeared object has acceleration-deceleration. This is an indicator of good animation. By default, the Auto Bezier mode has unregulated tendrils. As soon as we start changing them, they will turn into continuous Bezier. In this setting, the tendril appears and changes the curvature of the line on both sides when we rotate it. If we compare continuous Bezier to Bezier, in which the tendrils are adjusted separately on each side from the point, the continuous Bezier will affect two sides simultaneously. The hold setting is responsible for the instantaneous change of the parameter without changing the speed. For example, if we put 3 points, it will change the parameter between them. But if we enable hold, then we won't have an intermediate value. It will allow us to make a not smooth picture without trimming the clip. It's very convenient. Parameters such as isIn and isOut are presets for Bezier. We have the one-sided tendril that can be adjusted for speed and can make the frame change more smooth. We can combine scale and rotation animations. For example, we can create 2 base points for rotation and set the second point to the value 2. Linear rotations don't look very good, so we will change the interpolation. For example, we added isIn to the endpoint. Also, we can add dynamics to each effect by shifting the tendril up or down. If we look closely, this tendril of a turn will be raised up. It turns just above 2 turns and then comes back. The same thing can be done with scale. Remove attributes removes all parameters. Spatial interpolation is characteristic of the position parameter. For example, we reduced the scale, moved the video in the program panel to the desired location, activated the stopwatch for position, and created the first point. In order to change the position of a frame, we just need to double-click on it. If we move the video to the right, we will create a second point. If we move the video below, we will create a second point, etc. That is, we have created several points, on which the clip will move. If we look closely at the points, there will be a dotted line in the distance between them. It goes this distance in a single frame. Each point is a frame. For example, the distance from this point to this one is 10 frames. So we can look at the graphic density. The denser the dots, the slower the movement. The greater the distance, the faster the movement. By default, the enabled spatial interpolation is Bezier. Each point in the space has its own tendrils that we can spin and correct right on the program panel. If we right-click on these points, we won't see these parameters. We have 2 types of interpolation. The first is temporal interpolation. The second is spatial interpolation. If we want our movement to be linear, we can choose linear. We switch the temporal interpolation here and spatial one here. We can also see all these points, Bezier, linear, etc. in other programs. They deal with any graphic element. They may have a curve. That's all about frame interpolation. Now we'll analyze other effects.